Yo, yo. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Freedom marchers, from love and freedom family and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorilla, the building. Hitting y'all upside the head with this morning paper, where we're going to get into more deception, more dog and pony show, more psyop, more organized confusion. Yes, organized confusion. That is the phrase of the day. Organized confusion, where they deliberately use the masses, confuse the pea-brain people down here in the proletariat class to further muddy the waters so that we'll never get any real answers, right? Because they just, listen, they throw the confusion in as often as possible. So it is what it is. But my hope is that together we can discern and decipher and suss out the bullshit. Good morning to Queen Black Spring with Autumn and my queen sister Convos with Cam. Make sure y'all check her out. Check both of them out. Make sure you drop your links. Right? Great sisters, man. They great content, and we need to boost these people. Anyway, confusion, organized confusion, right? Confusion that they create so that we'll never get the answers. And all day and night, they'll come out and debunk the conspiracy theories, but create more confusion while they do it. In particular, today, I want to point to Charlie Kirk's alleged so-called mentor, right? That was there the day Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was the guy standing to Charlie Kirk's right that they said were doing the hand signals, right? Right. There were multiple videos going around showing him doing these weird things with his hands and all this other shit, doing this and doing hand signals so they believe. That's the guy that also came out and said that when they were on the way to the hospital, not in an ambulance. See, there's more confusion. Did Charlie Kirk arrive at the hospital in an ambulance or in the goddamn SUV? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm hearing both. Again, more things thrown in to confuse you. But anyway, he said he's the one that said that, Charlie Kirk, he was looking off in the distance. He wasn't there. He was basically dead before they got to the hospital. But then you hear about this surgeon that tried to perform life-saving surgery on Charlie Kirk that said that Charlie Kirk had a neck of steel. He was the man of steel. Well, if Charlie Kirk was dead on arrival, why are they performing surgery on Charlie Kirk to save his life? And then also, why are they're saying when Charlie Kirk, look, I already brought up this information, right? I brought up the question that I had heard no one ask the week before last or so, where I asked, when Charlie Kirk first got shot, why did no one try to perform life-saving procedures right there? Why didn't they try to stop the bleeding? Why didn't they, why did they immediately move his body? You know what I'm saying? Why did these things happen? Right? And I was being told, oh, I watched too many movies, because no one tries to save anybody's life immediately, right? This is what I was being told. But then videos start coming out and they're showing these guys hovering over Charlie Kirk and they're doing all these things with their hand. They're passing things off. No one has blood on their hands. No one has blood on their clothes. No one's trying to stop the bleeding. And then they carry him off. Yeah, that was after I asked those questions. Like, why didn't they try to do that? And then now all of a sudden, all these people come out asking the same question I asked. Anyway, a lot of confusion. Frank Turek was there. Frank Turek was one of the individuals hovering over Charlie Kirk's body, doing whatever, like just Some guy was smiling, it looked like. All this silly shit. This whole thing with Charlie Kirk is a hot ass mess. Now, Frank Turek, shortly after Charlie Kirk passed away, shortly after he was assassinated, or whatever you want to call it, he went on his podcast, I guess, and you can hear him. He's talking about the whole situation. He's talking about when the shot went off. Good morning to you, Black Spring Autumn. Salute to you. Good morning to you, Queen. Make sure y'all drop your links in there. If you guys are a moderator and you have a channel, go ahead and drop your links. Go ahead and put yourselves out there. But this Frank Turek character, he tells you about what is going on when the shot goes off, right? Now, he's standing next to Charlie Kirk, and he's saying that when the shot went off, it sounded like it was close. This is what he said initially. He said he felt like it was close. Now, before I go on, I want you guys, I dropped in the description, see a link to the video from the Disturbing Illusion, because he breaks this down in the video. He shows you both times where Frank Turek is talking about Charlie Kirk, the shooting, and how the first time he said that it sounded like the shot was close. Okay, that's what he said. He said it sounded like the shot was close. Bada boom. I don't understand how you don't understand how this. I don't understand how you don't understand how this relates to our slave story. Our slavery, you don't understand how this is connected. How they are using what happened to Charlie Kirk to keep us in chains. I'm trying to help you guys understand how to break free of the chains. It's called nuanced thinking, right? But anyway, this Frank Turek character, he later on speaks with they knocked down like over 100 people from my chat room. Interesting. Okay, this is what they do. Steph Brown, salute to you, Steph Brown. Yes, hit the like button, y'all. All you got to do is double tap the screen. Double tap the screen and hit the like button. I've driven through this area. It is what it is. But so later on, hit that like button, y'all. Hit the like button. I'm saying double tap the screen and make sure you guys like the video. But Frank Turek later on, he's talking to a retired detective, and he's talking about the whole situation. Now, in this video, he's telling us that the shot did not sound close. It did not sound close, right? Because obviously they're trying to debunk this idea. They're trying to debunk this idea, and they're trying to debunk the idea that maybe they're trying to debunk this idea that maybe Tyler Robinson did not shoot Charlie Kirk, or they're trying to debunk this idea that there may have been a second shooter. This is what they're trying to do. So in order to solidify their debunking, in order to steer people away from this idea, they are now telling us, oh, well, the shot didn't sound close, because obviously you got to keep up the story that the shot came from 140 yards away. Why are we saying Tyler confessed? Did you guys hear his confession? See, they're telling you guys these things. They're presenting to you these things that they say are fact, but they're not presenting any evidence to show that it's fact. When did you guys hear Tyler Robinson say that? When did you hear him confess? So even if he did confess, they still, he's not pleading guilty. He didn't plead guilty in his arraignment. So All this bullshit about him confessing is irrelevant. Now they have to prove he killed Charlie Kirk. Right? So Frank Turek is telling y'all in the second video, he's talking to this detective. They have to keep up this act. They have to present it to you as though Tyler Robinson did indeed kill Charlie Kirk from 143 meters away, or 145 meters, whatever it was. So obviously he can't say the shot sounded close, right? Because then that would destroy the narrative. But you already told us, Frank Turek, Charlie's mentor, that the shot sounded close. You're there. The first account, the one that's the freshest on your mind, before the manipulation, before people come to you and tell you what story you're supposed to present, that's probably the one that you should go with, right? In my opinion. But again, we don't know for sure because we weren't there. Lee Harvey 2.0, most likely. We weren't there. Frank Turek was there. He told us that the shot sounded close, which would make sense in my opinion because, and then they tell you, oh, well, if Charlie Kirk was shot from the right-hand side, oh, there was a wall there. Oh, there's a wall over there. There's no way. There's more than a wall. You got a wall. You got glass windows on that one building. You have these stairs that go up to a point between buildings. They're talking about how there's a vent opening. All kind of shit. Diego says, is the pic of Valhalla Island in Tyler's computer real? Because that's some great breadcrumbs. What's Valhalla Island? I don't know anything about Valhalla Island. So we're supposed to roll with what Frank Turek is telling us the second time, not the first time. Just so you guys know, if you guys want to go with the narrative, you can't go with the first thing he said, which was that the shot sounded close. Oh, the shot sounded close. But then when you're talking to the detective, you're telling him the shot didn't sound close. It was far away. It wasn't close at all. So what are we supposed to believe? If you can't keep your story consistent, why should we believe you? There's a picture of Tyler with an island on his computer. It's possibly a witness protection island owned by CEO of Bass Pro. that is some wild shit that you just said. The CEO of Bass Pro owns the island where they use for witness protection. That's very interesting. I didn't know anything about that. Steph Brown says, off topic, but they had all the footage of Tyler Robinson doing this and that, but no footage of the heinous act of hanging that young brother in Mississippi. Well, of course they're not going to have that. They're not going to have that at all because they don't want you to know what happened, right? They want you to just believe that he hung himself. Case closed, bada boom, bada bing. No need to think about anything else. With Charlie Kirk, they're showing you all this to point to Tyler Robinson. They want us to know, and they want us to believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk because Tyler Robinson was dating a furry who was also a trans, who was part of a trans group that knew that Charlie Kirk was going to kill. That knew that Tyler Robinson was going to kill Charlie Kirk. So the idea is that we want to say that, well, the left killed Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was speaking, right? Oh, they killed Charlie Kirk for his speech because they, whatever reason they want to give you. That's what they want you to believe. So yes, they're going to have all this footage of Tyler Robinson, except you're missing one key component. They're not showing any video of Tyler Robinson shooting Charlie Kirk, pulling the trigger or firing the weapon that they say he's firing. They don't have that footage. And then they tell you they have these, these people, they come out and they tell you third, fourth, fifth hand information about the autopsy. but haven't presented you with the autopsy report. Oh, they tell you, oh, well, Charlie was struck in the C2 of his cervical spine, and it traveled the bullet. Now, this is the crazy shit right here. They tell you that Charlie Kirk was shot in a C2 of his cervical spine, and the bullet traveled downward through, all the way through to his C7, right? The C7. Now, understand that C2 is like right there at the base of the skull where the neck connects to the skull. So, and I showed you guys a video where VFT Valhalla, he breaks it down. He shows you where the C2 is, which I was aware of. I was talking, before I saw that video, I told you guys how they said the bullet entered into Charlie Kirk and basically traveled downward, down to his spine, and exploded. The bullet exploded on Charlie Kirk's spine, and it went everywhere and pierced his heart and all this bullshit. I told you guys, in order for that to work, it would have to be at such an extreme angle, but you would have to travel, the bullet would have to travel through basically his chin to get to where they said the bullet went to. His chin. And then it had to be at a downward angle, and that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because from the position they say Tyler Robinson shot from, it was at a 9-degree angle. A 9-degree angle. That's damn near horizontal. So when the bullet entered Charlie Kirk from where Tyler Robinson shot, it was at a 9-degree angle. Now, in order for what they say to work, that the bullet struck his C2 and traveled down all the way to his C7 and damn near into T1, where the thoracic columns, basically the thoracic disc, meet up with the cervical disc. The bullet would have had to enter through his chin, basically, or through his teeth, hit the C2, and then refract and deflect downward, damn near at a 90-degree angle. That is not possible, especially not with a 30-06 round. So, and I told you guys as well a couple weeks ago that at 140-something yards or 140-something meters, the velocity of a 30-06 round is around 2,800 feet per second. 2,800 feet per second. That's what the round is traveling at by the time it hits Charlie Kirk. That's what it has to have been traveling at. Right? So this round traveling at 2,700 feet per second by the time it strikes Charlie Kirk. A 30-06 is carrying enough energy to where if it came into contact with his spinal column, it would have obliterated the spinal column and blown a big ass hole out the back of his neck if it hit the C2. Not only would it obliterate his spinal column, it probably all 7 of those goddamn cervical discs, it would also have to go through his chin. And it probably would have blown goddamn his lower jaw off his face. In order for that to work, for a 30-06 round traveling at 2,700 feet per second. You know what I'm saying? 2,700 feet per second. A 30-06 round. But did Charlie Kirk get struck in the jaw or in the teeth or in the chin? No, he did not. He got struck down here. So at this location, you're probably going to hit, if the bullet enters at this point and hits the column, spine, you're probably going to be at C5, C4, C3, not C2. This is important to understand, right? Because you guys might be wondering, well, why should we care about all this? I've explained it many times. If they can do this to Charlie Kirk, who was the best friend of Donald Trump, who had so many connections, who was backed by so many corporations. Charlie Kirk was connected. He was in their world. He hobnobbed and rubbed shoulders and elbows with the elite class. And if they were responsible for taking this man out and turned Tyler Robinson into a willing or involuntary stool pigeon, we need to know these things. We need to be able to break this shit apart. We need to be able to question. It's very important for us to understand what happened to Charlie Kirk. Whether you like him or not, whether he was racist or not, that's not what this is about. This is about not allowing guys, give me a Romeo Lima Charlie if you guys can read me loud and clear. So, Frank Turek is Charlie Kirk's mentor. He told us what he went through when Charlie Kirk was shot. The first time, when he did the first video, he told us that the shot was close. Thank you, Jessica Weiss. Thank you. The shot was close. That is what Charlie Kirk's mentor said the first time. Thank you, Tinkering with Bo. Thank you. I appreciate that, Real Eyes. Thank you. Salute to William. Told you the shot was close. That's what Charlie Kirk's mentor said. But then when he went on with that detective, when he did that show with the detective, that episode with the detective, he said the shot wasn't close. So which one is it, Turek? My video's fuzzy. Luis Marlowe. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know. I don't who knows, man. But you guys go check out in the description. There's a YouTube channel goes by the name The Disgusting Illusion or something. The Disturbing Illusion. There is a video in there where he talks about how Turek said one thing in the first video and another thing in the second video, and I'm bringing it to you guys' attention because it's important. The people from Turning Point USA, they are going with the FBI narrative, even though it makes no sense. They are telling people about this autopsy that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in regards to how we saw Charlie Kirk was killed. Right? The way that the autopsy report lays it out, it doesn't make any sense at all. But this is what Turning Point USA is telling people like Brandon Tatum and Stephen Gardner. They're telling Stephen Gardner this, they're telling Brandon Tatum this, and this is what they're telling people. They're going around telling people about what they saw in this report. But they don't show you the report at all. You don't see, they don't have the report. They're not showing anybody the report. So when Stephen Gardner is talking to this mortician and he's telling this mortician about what he was told, oh, he got shot in C2 of the spine and it traveled down to C7. It doesn't make any fucking sense. The C2 is right here. You have to go under the chin, basically damn near at the base of the skull. Charlie Kirk, let's say Charlie Kirk was shot from the direction they say he was shot from. Right here. You're not going to hit C2 at that point. You're not. And the shot, they say, from where Tyler Robinson was located, the trajectory was at a 9-degree angle when struck him. Now, if Charlie Kirk had been struck in the C2, it would have to have gone through his chin at a much more extreme angle, like I told you guys, right, a few days ago. Josh Smith said you would hit C2 if you were shot from the roof. There is no possible way that Charlie Kirk was hitting the C2 from where they say where you see the hole down here. C2 is up here, much higher, a few inches higher. Why is this important? Because if they can lie to you guys about how Charlie Kirk was murdered, because if the motivation behind Charlie Kirk being assassinated had more to do with global economics not economics, but global shit, global occurrences. If it has anything to do with, say, I don't know, what Israel is doing in Gaza, if Charlie Kirk was going to turn against Israel because of what they were doing in Gaza, and they didn't want Charlie Kirk using his voice, right, to bring attention to what Israel is doing, then that would be very important, would it not? Irish and Sax says you're zero IQ. If you guys are going to insult someone, you might want to use the correct spelling. Just a little advice, because it would be YO apostrophe RE, and even it doesn't even make sense with what you just said. If you're going to call someone low IQ and your sentence structure is ass, then that just makes you look like you're negative IQ. Just so you know. Jigsaw Life says, from what I've gathered, it entered the neck, hit the cervical bone, then hit C2. From what you gathered, that's what you gathered. It entered the clavicle bone. It hit the clavicle bone. Oh boy. Oh man. This can't be real. Where's the clavicle? Do you know where it is? They're saying this was the entrance wound. Where is the clavicle? Isn't it right here? The clavicle's right here, isn't it? But the bullet entered here. So in order for that to work, because the clavicle is ahead of the spot where Charlie Kirk was struck. So the round would have had to go in here, go down, hit the collarbone, go back up, hit the C2, and travel back down to C7. You guys, come on now. We got to do better. We got to do better. We got to do better. It hit the clavicle and then went to C2. Good Lord. Jigsaw Life. Where is the clavicle? B says he has low IQ. Your sentence structure shows you have low IQ. Your belongs to your you are. Okay. And if Turning Point is helping push a bullshit narrative that the FBI is putting out because of all the misinformation, now they're trying to say the FBI is walking back this idea that was the murder weapon and all this bullshit. Diego said Frank lied about trying to save his life. No one plugged the wound. And then Frank said he did CPR. He didn't do no goddamn CPR. Ain't no motherfucking way. No one plugged the wound at all whatsoever. And then when I was saying that, when I asked the question that no one was asking before all these videos came up about why they didn't do life-saving first aid, I asked those questions. I said, why didn't they try to stop the bleeding? Why didn't they plug the hole? Why didn't they do that? Why did they immediately handle him and pick his ass up, knowing that he possibly had a spinal injury? Because that you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to, You shouldn't move and jostle someone around like that possibly has a neck injury, because you could make it worse and possibly kill them. Well, people are like, oh, well, they were concerned there was an active shooting and all this, but they're hovering over the body, doing all this bullshit with their hands, exposing themselves to an active shooter. So while they're hovering over Charlie Kirk's body, doing all this bullshit, climbing up onto the goddamn chair, grabbing SD cards, taking down cameras, they're exposed to an active shooter, correct? Well, while they're doing all that, while they're passing things off to each other, doing all this shit, not really doing anything to save Charlie Kirk's life, they could have been doing something to stop the bleeding, but they didn't. Then they carry him off to an SUV. Help me understand how that makes sense. Taking pictures with their glasses? Maybe. What's Grimm saying? Grimm wrote and says, the world is better without Charlie Kirk, and it proved me wrong. Again, this is not about whether or not the world is better with Charlie Kirk in it. Who said save the bleeding? Did someone say save the bleeding? Yeah, Kirk was a mouthpiece for the state, and look where that got him. Exactly. If they will take out the mouthpiece of the state if that motherfucker goes against his marching orders. Charlie Kirk's marching orders was to help push division, right? Help perpetuate the division within the country, within the people of the country, and big up Israel and support Israel. Perpetuate this division so that we would not focus on the real problem. Well, if you go against that, guess what? What state am I in? It doesn't matter. Democrats hated him. Sure they did. Black people may have hated him. But see, we have to look beyond the hate. We have to look beyond the emotion that they want us to be steeped in. Let's stop being steeped in emotion. Let's think about what's really going on here. Sure, I'm in Florida. Why not? They shoot away witnesses from the news, and the next day had a bunch of cops pretending to be college students on the news. Maybe. John Gonzalez says, you're an idiot. He was never divisive. Whatever you say, Jose, or John Gonzalez, whatever the fuck your name is. Anyway, the problem is, if they took him out because he was getting ready to pull support from Israel and actually shine a light on the atrocities of Israel, then that's a problem for everybody, right? Jessica Wee says Charlie did love us and follow God. Who's the us that he loved? Kirk was divisive. I'm sorry. Salute to Queen Shower. Salute to you, Queen Sister Shower, this morning. The bottom line is, y'all can come in here and try to deflect and detract away from what the real message is. If Charlie Kirk was killed because he decided to no longer go with the narrative to support Israel, then guess what? That is a problem for all of us. Salute to Abiola. Is this pickpocket shoplifter NGA? I don't know what that means, but thank you for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. I don't know what an NGA is. I don't know what a pickpocket shoplifter. I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you for dropping that $2 super chat. Charlie Kirk was not divisive. He was a good Christian man. What are those mutually exclusive things? Is that mutually exclusive? You can't be divisive if you're a good Christian man? I don't know how that's supposed to disprove anything. Because Miller Time says, why is Why is Officer Tatum so sure that there's no foul play? Because he's a shield for the government. He's a shield for Israel, and he's a shield for the elite class, right? That wants to keep you down so that they can stay up. They feel like the only way they can stay on top is by keeping you down. And that's the problem with people that want to be on top. Because to be on top, you have to step on other motherfuckers. Israel wants to spread their empire. And the only way they can really do that in a region full of Muslims that they believe hate them and that they hate is by basically eradicating them. Like they're trying to eradicate the Palestinian people. Well, they're actually doing that. They're actually eradicating the Palestinian people. And in order for this agenda to work, they have to have the support of us and our government. Because they get a lot of funding from us. They get military equipment. We're basically the people, we back them up. They do the things that they do because we back them up. And if Charlie Kirk is spreading the message that Israel is committing evil atrocities to his base, which is a very crucial base for Israel to have on their side, well, the math is mathing for me. Anyway, I gotta go. Thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button. I don't understand why y'all don't hit the like button. All you got to do is double tap the screen. Sure, Tim Wiersma. Ignorance spreading ignorance. Sure. Go watch the video in the link in the description. Yeah. Turek is telling you the first time, oh, the shot sounded close. And then he tells you in another video that the shot didn't sound close. I'm bringing you guys information as I get it. And I'm helping you try to use discernment. And guess what? You guys don't want to use discernment. You want to believe what you want to believe. You want to roll with what they say? That's fine. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, whether you like it or not. It is what it is. That's the whole point. When you believe in something and the information in your message, you believe in your message, you're gonna continue to push your message. And the people that receive it will receive it. The people that don't, won't. It is what it is. Anyway, thank you guys. Much love. Like, share, subscribe, and let's keep